Hey guys, welcome to my Talk Wrestling Reviews. I am your host, Boise, and this is Raw Review. We've got a packed episode with a lot of changes going on with Crown Jewel and tributes to what happened at Evolution. So with everything said and done, let's just hit the music and look at this week's episode of Raw. So we kicked off the show with an opening segment with Baron Corbin in the ring with the Universal title, and the first thing I thought in my head was, hold on, if you're ever like new to WWE, or you're just, a fan who hasn't been on for ages and you decide to turn it on for the first time, and you see Baron Corbin holding the major belt, it's kind of like, really? I thought this was a bit stupid. If it was anyone else like Mick Foley or Stephanie McMahon holding the belt while in the ring cutting a promo, that would be more realistic. But Baron bloody Corbin, come on guys, let's get realistic. Baron Corbin should not be anywhere near that title, and him holding it at the opening segment was just weird and bizarre. I don't know who decided to do that. But with that said and done, Corbin was cutting a promo. He did a typical heel promo, especially talking about Roman Reigns wishing he never returns, wishing him all the best to get healed, but saying I don't want him back on Raw. And he was interrupted by Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar. The crowd went mental, let's be honest. You kind of want to see Brock Lesnar when he's there. And yeah, it was pretty much a statement of this isn't a prediction, it's a spoiler kind of promo. It's the same kind of promos we've had with Paul Heyman before. They're always good, don't get me wrong, it's just that it's the same thing. Brock Lesnar is going to win at Crown Jewel, and then he was interrupted by Braun Strowman. Braun Strowman promising to win the Universal title. The only difference is between this and last time we saw this promo, because we've seen it before where it was Brock Lesnar who was Universal Champion and Braun Strowman was Challenger. This time they're both going for a vacant belt. Is pretty much Baron Corbin was in the ring, both men just kind of took him out, and that was great, don't get me wrong. That is always fun to see Baron Corbin get pushed about in the ring, but there was nothing new there. Let's be honest, they had to change quite a lot for this pay-per-view already, and this just kind of, it showed it. There's not much added, but we're gonna win. No, I'm gonna win. Blah blah blah. So for me, I'm gonna give this, because it's Paul Heyman, I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10. It's entertaining just to see Paul Heyman, but everything else is very similar. Our first match of the night was a rematch from last week's first match of the night, which is Bobby Lashley versus Finn Balor. Now, on paper, these two should have good matches. That's just a given. But for me, it just feels like there's just no energy in Bobby Lashley, and I think it is the Lio Rush factor. I think it's fine. It's getting a bit of heat, but there's nothing it's nothing too extreme. Kevin Owens gets better heat than Bobby Lashley. Sami Zayn got better heat than Bobby Lashley. It's just, right now, it just feels like they're putting a lot of faith and they're giving a bit of a big push here for Bobby Lashley. But the match itself, it's fine. It's a typical opening type of match. And it's a shame really, because Finn Balor is such a great talent. He should be more main event in Raw than opening Raw for me. And this is, again, it was very similar to what we had last week. But this time it seemed that Bobby's wasn't really that much in control. Finn's ability to really turn the match on Bobby Lashley just really showed how good, it kind of showed how good Finn Balor was, and you're not making your heel look any stronger because Lio Rush had to get involved, push Finn, which caused the match to be called off, which Finn got the victory again. That's 2 victories on the trot really for Finn Balor. And then obviously because Finn's on the floor after being pushed by Lio Rush, he gets beaten up and dominated by Bobby Lashley, and he gets beaten slightly by Lio Rush. Alright, and then afterwards, backstage segment, Corbin goes, oh, by the way, just to let you know, after he's been beaten up, I'm putting you in the World Cup over John Cena. Obviously John Cena removing himself from the Crown Jewel pay-per-view, which we all know why. But yeah, it's just like, why has Bobby Lashley been put in the World Cup? He's pushed so far, hasn't really got the results you've been hoping for. The fans aren't that too much invested. And why is he being chosen over like guys like Finn Balor or others who have really, and Elias and that lot, who've really kind of are, I would say, higher up in the pecking order than him. Even Dean Ambrose would have been a smarter choice to choose right now than bloody Bobby Lashley. So I'm going to give this a 5 out of 10. So our next match was a 10-woman tag team match where we had the babyface team of Sasha Banks, Bayley, Natalya, Trish Stratus and Lita. So pretty much the 3 who were in this 6-woman tag team match for the babyface team, and the 2 who were the babyfaces in the tag team match at Evolution versus the Riott Squad, Alicia Fox and Mickie James, with Alexa Bliss on the side watching on. This for me was fine. It was a good match. The home stretch of the match was the best part. Majority of the match was longer than it needed to be, in my opinion. It was great seeing legends like Lita and Trish back on Raw again. I always enjoy watching these two wrestle, and Sasha and Bayley and Natalya, they are fun to watch as well. And again, like I keep saying, the Riott Squad, just showing how good they are. I think they were the best part of the heel team, in my opinion. That's just my opinion, but they felt like the better, more all-round team in that. But yeah, the match itself went on a little bit too long. The babyfaces won yet again. So yeah, that was kind of like the last, one last match after Evolution kind of thing. So a rematching of Evolution in some way for everyone. I'm going to give this a 7 out of 10. It was entertaining, great to see some of the Hall of Famers back in action, and the Riott Squad just came off looking better than Mickie James and Alicia Fox, really. Next up, we had a really interesting segment where it was Elias. After last week, he pretty much came off being the babyface, and it was good. He was very much like, straight away, he's very similar to the heel persona, which he's been very good at, but this time changing around just enough so the crowd definitely know he's babyface, but still can enjoy the let's walk with Elias and stuff. And he pretty much started it off, and he goes, I've got a song and I want to play it for Baron Corbin because it felt so good last week after hitting him with my own guitar, even though I don't like to destroy my my guitars. It just felt so good to do it, and I'm going to play it for him tonight. And he walked backstage. Dana Brooke said, will you play me a song? He goes, no, and walks off. Gets to Baron Corbin's door, knocks on it. Baron Corbin's just like, who is it? And he goes, Elias. Starts playing the song. Baron Corbin looks absolutely annoyed, shuts the door, and then Jinder Mahal attacks. This is a really good opening segment. I really thought this is very putting Elias in that babyface segment really strongly, and it led up to the match itself. Jinder Mahal is, let's be honest, he's the jobber of the heel division, and it kind of shows you what Baron Corbin's going to be doing really with Elias, using his abilities, general manager capabilities to put him in matches, because he doesn't want to fight Elias, while Elias wants to take on Baron Corbin. Very obvious in that. But yeah, the match itself was nothing too special, but the segment before it really was entertaining. We all expected Elias to win over Jinder Mahal because everyone beats Jinder Mahal, because he's, like I said, he's the jobber of the heel faction. So for me, I'm going to give this a solid 7 out of 10, entertaining from the start. So next up, we had a triple threat match where we saw AOP versus the Ascension versus Chad Gable and Bobby Roode. And the commentators were really kind of trying to build this up as a stepping stone to the Raw Tag Team division. But seeing as the Raw Tag Team champions are divided and we have no answers of are they going to strip the belts off them because they're now in a rivalry or what, we have no idea. We'll have to wait and see. But the match itself was nothing special. A very, very quick match. I think it was about less than 10 minutes long. That's how quick it was. AOP pretty much got taken out of the match before it started. Ascension and Bobby Roode and Chad Gable kind of quickly had a quick match. I mean, Bobby Roode and Chad Gable actually had a tag team finisher, won the match, and then obviously AOP attacked both teams, taking everyone out, overshadowing them. AOP are the most dominant ones on the Raw roster right now, but it just doesn't feel like there's anything important on the Raw tag team division right now. It's lost. Well, SmackDown's tag team division feels a little bit more stable. There's a lot more teams, and it feels like anyone could win the tag team division on there. Right now on Raw, it just feels like they have no clue what they're doing with the tag team division. Just throw them in a few matches and hope for the best. For me, this is going to get a 4 out of 10. It's very disappointing. AOP just came off looking stronger, but again, end of the day, everyone else, there's nothing really important going on in the tag team division as we speak. So next up, we had a really brilliant promo. In one of my opinions, it's the best rivalry, best segment we're having right now on Raw, and it's Ambrose and Seth Rollins. Right, Seth Rollins went to the ring, called out Dean Ambrose, wanting an explanation of what happened. He thanked the fans as well for their support for Roman. He said that's very special, and I thought that was great. And then we got to the promo, and Dean doesn't say a single word. He doesn't say a word, and that could be really important down the line. I hope it is, and I think Dean Ambrose will most likely cut a fantastic promo, one of his best promos ever, by the time we get to his promo. But this was a fantastic promo, very passionate, very well put together from Seth Rollins, saying, look, I understand what I did to you 4 years ago. If you've been harbouring feelings for that, I can understand, but at least when I did it to you, when I betrayed you, I explained myself. I want to know why you did this. And it was great. It really felt like a really fantastic segment. Both men, this is going to be the best segment on Raw for months, I reckon. So I'm really excited. Both guys are really cool. This is a really cool segment. I'm going to give this a 7 out of 10 because obviously I want to see what Ambrose has to say, but the waiting game is exciting as it is now. Next up, we had Nia Jax versus Ember Moon. Now, this all started because of a backstage interview where they talked to Nia Jax and then they interviewed Ember Moon, and while they kind of focused on Ember Moon eliminating more women than Nia Jax, I can understand where Nia was coming from. It was kind of like a really stupid interview. It's, you know, one of those really daft interviews and you're like, what are they doing here? Why are they asking questions like this? What's the point in all this? And it just kind of went, Nia just went, alright, so you want to just interview Ember, even though I won the Battle Royale Evolution. That's odd, which it makes sense. Then Ember challenged Nia to a match. It was a very quick match. It definitely have chemistry. I really want to see these two in a proper rivalry instead of this friendly kind of rivalry they're having. The match itself was interrupted by Tamina, where that was the most interesting thing. For myself, I'm kind of excited to see if we get a Nia Jax and Tamina rivalry, or we get a Nia Jax heel turn, which people have been suggesting, where her and Tamina team up. The reason is because of Tamina coming out, it interrupted both women. They both got distracted. Nia Jax took advantage of this, quickly got the pinfall, and she won the match. Now, this could be leading up to something really interesting, but I just want to see how this evolves. Hopefully WWE Creative really put some effort into it, and maybe we could see the most powerful partnership in the women's division with Tamina and Nia Jax teaming up. We'll have to wait and see. The match itself, again, very quick. Good chemistry though, so I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. So next up, we had a tag team match, and it was the Revival versus the Lucha House Party from 205. This was really exciting. I wasn't expecting them, and I was kind of excited because I've seen how good they are on 205, and having them on Raw really could add some depth to the tag team division because they really need it. But what am I going to say really, which I think a lot of fans are most likely going to agree with. It's a shame right now what's happened to Revival. They've fallen so far from being #1 contenders to they've lost to the Lucha House Party. Not taking anything away from the Lucha House Party, I was just like, wow. I'm a big fan of Revival. I think they've got a lot of potential, but my God, this really just felt out of place, and like they really need to sort out the tag team division. Again, like I said in the last match with the tag team divisions involved, it just feels like there's an utter mess in this division. They got a victory. It wasn't. I was hoping there would be a lot more high flying moves, but you know, like we get on 205. But it was cool. It was just a shame what happens with the Revival. With that said, I'm going to give this a 6 out of 10. I just want to see if we're going to get more Lucha House Party on the tag team division. Maybe they could challenge for the titles. Maybe we'll have to wait and see. Next up, we had a match between Dolph Ziggler and Apollo, and to be honest, the promo which started before the match was brilliant. McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler cut a fantastic promo. They're really, really good at these right now. Where Dolph's like, I'm going to prove to everyone I'm the best in the world, and Drew's going to challenge for the you know, like just pretty much saying, look, I'm going to win the World Cup, and once we find out who the Universal Champion is, they have to watch out because there's going to be a Claymore kick coming at them. So that's awesome. I think that was fantastic. The match itself was average. It was an average match. Apollo is really good in the ring. Dolph's really good. But there's just, again, you just go, right, what are we fighting for here, guys? Come on, what's the main focus points here? And that was the problem. It was an average match. The chemistry was there-ish, but it was just nothing too special to go home about. So Dolph got the victory. Kind of typical. I feel so sorry for Apollo. He had the opportunity maybe to have a great rivalry between Elias, but obviously they've had to turn Elias babyface, and now it just feels like they have no clue what to do with Apollo now. Maybe we could see a great rivalry with Dolph if they actually build up on this after, you know, Crown Jewel, but we'll have to wait and see. Last but not least, it was our main event, and this was interesting. We had we had the Brothers of Destruction come to the center of the ring finally for weeks and weeks. We've seen the video promos and stuff like that, but we finally got them in the ring. They cut a promo about the Crown Jewel, which got booed by the crowd. Interesting, that isn't it? They were chanting Undertaker. I mean, the minute he mentioned Crown Jewel, you lost the crowd. You lost the crowd straight away from that. And then they called out DX. Triple H comes out, and Kane's going after Triple H at the entrance where Shawn Michaels in the ring super kicks Undertaker. Kane's nowhere to be seen. They run up. They're acting like kids. They're acting they always act like kids, but they're acting like it's 10 years ago. While Undertaker and Kane look so tired. They look so old and tired right now. And this was like it. And then Undertaker got straight back up, and he was like, that super kick did nothing to him, and looked intimidated at. But to be honest, the promo, the attack, just felt really kind of trying too hard to be nostalgic, and it just didn't really sell the match for me. Again, the Crown Jewel thing is really putting a lot of fans off, and that could be an issue with WWE right now. For me, it just felt so rushed, and the promo wasn't anything special, and Undertaker and Kane just looked so tired. So I'm going to give this segment a 5 out of 10 because they're just not selling me on this Crown Jewel at all with everything. I'm not already sold, trust me. I am not even interested in this pay-per-view, but this just didn't even help me at all get interested. And there you go, guys. That was this week's episode of Raw. What did I think? Above average. Above average. We know Cena's not going to be at the World Cup in Saudi Arabia now. I wonder why. And it's just the Brothers of Destruction and the D-Generation X stuff just felt really, really tired. The only real thing which I've got to say, which made me like, oh, this was really cool, was the Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose segment. Everything else kind of, like I said, just felt really flat. So I'm going to score this week's episode of Raw a mediocre 5 out of 10. But what was your favourite part of this week's episode? Leave it in the comments below. If you do like our videos, please like, subscribe and press the bell to keep notified. If you do want to follow us on Twitter, you can do. It's at Smack Talk YouTube. And if you want to follow me on Twitter, it's at Boise88. And I'll see you guys on the next Smack Talk Wrestling Review.